Breaking news. Tensions erupt in the West Philippine Sea as a U.S. warship escorts a Philippine exploration vessel. The BRP Andres Bonifacio glides through the reed bank, mapping the seabed for oil and gas. Flanking it is the USS John S. McCain, a symbol of American resolve. On the horizon, Chinese Coast Guard vessels shadow every move. What unfolds is a high-stakes naval standoff. One misstep could spark a global crisis. The world watches in real time as satellite images and drone footage stream to newsrooms worldwide. On the bridge, Captain Reyes scans the horizon, radio channels alive with escalating warnings. Chinese ships demand the Philippine and American vessels leave, insisting on their sovereignty. The U.S. calmly asserts their right to navigate international waters under UNCLOS. This event marks a turning point. The U.S. is now an active participant, directly challenging China's sweeping claims. For the Philippines, the stakes are enormous. Energy independence within reach, but at the risk of provoking a powerful neighbor. In Manila, President Marcos Jr. is in constant contact with defense chiefs and U.S. counterparts. In Beijing, President Xi convenes an emergency meeting. In Washington, the Situation Room buzzes with activity. This is the new front line of great power competition, fought not in trenches, but on the resource-rich waters of the West Philippine Sea. The world holds its breath. Will diplomacy prevail? Or will this spark ignite a larger fire? The outcome will shape Southeast Asia's future for generations. The tension is palpable, the risks immense. The next move could change everything. Beneath these contested waters lies a prize: vast reserves of oil and natural gas. The South China Sea holds an estimated 11 billion barrels of oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. Much of this is within the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, affirmed by the 2016 Hague ruling. The Malampaya gas field has powered Luzon for decades, but its reserves are nearly gone. The Reed Bank could be the successor, with even greater potential. Unlocking these resources could generate billions, fund infrastructure, and create thousands of jobs. Energy independence would transform the Philippines from importer to exporter. This is more than a resource. It's hope for a brighter, self-reliant future. The government's resolve is fueled by the promise of prosperity and sovereignty. Manila, with Washington's backing, is determined to claim this prize. The South China Sea is a web of overlapping claims. China asserts historical rights over nearly 90% of the sea, marked by its infamous 9-dash line. This claim clashes with the exclusive economic zones of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei, as defined by UNCLOS. The stakes are global. Over a third of the world's shipping passes through these waters. In 2016, the Hague Tribunal ruled against China's claims, affirming the Philippines' rights. Beijing rejected the ruling, escalating the impasse. The world's major powers, including the US and Japan, have a vested interest in keeping these waters open. The dispute is about more than territory. It's about control of a vital global artery. Navigating this tangled web is now a test of international law versus raw power. China's strategy is relentless presence and gray zone tactics. Coercive, but just short of war. Massive China Coast Guard ships and maritime militia swarm and intimidate other claimants' vessels. Artificial islands in the Spratlys, now military fortresses, project Chinese power deep into Southeast Asia. These outposts host airfields, ports, and missile systems, changing the region's strategic reality. China's goal: establish de facto control, making its claims a reality on the water. The cost of challenging China is rising for its neighbors. This assertiveness has alarmed the region and the world. The dragon's grip tightens across this vital sea. The U.S. has shifted from observer to active player in the South China Sea. Freedom of navigation operations have given way to direct support for Philippine exploration. America sees China's actions as a threat to the rules-based order and global trade. U.S. energy giants could partner with the Philippines to unlock offshore reserves, backed by security guarantees. The U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty now explicitly covers attacks in the South China Sea. This puts China in a bind. Interference risks direct confrontation with the U.S. For Manila, American involvement brings security and technology to turn legal victories into reality. The partnership intertwines economic development and security. The Eagle lands as a partner, not a conqueror. The balance of power is shifting. The region's future is being rewritten. For Filipinos, high electricity costs and power outages are daily struggles. Heavy reliance on imported fuel makes the country vulnerable to global price shocks. The looming depletion of Malampaya threatens energy security. Developing new domestic sources, especially in the West Philippine Sea, is a matter of survival. Energy independence would stabilize prices, create jobs, and attract investment. Government revenue from these resources could transform the nation. President Marcos Jr. frames the fight for sovereignty as a fight for a brighter economic future. The dream, affordable, reliable energy for all Filipinos. The stakes are personal, keeping the lights on, powering growth, building a self-reliant nation. The sea's hidden wealth is the key to this dream. The current standoff is haunted by past confrontations, like the 2012 Scarborough Shoal incident, where China seized control after a broken deal. Since then, Chinese tactics have grown more aggressive: lasers, dangerous maneuvers, and water cannons against Philippine vessels. The risks of energy exploration are real. China considers unilateral drilling a violation of its sovereignty. Any attempt could trigger a severe response, from blockades to direct action. The Philippines cannot match China's military might alone. The U.S. alliance acts as a deterrent, raising the cost of Chinese aggression. Inaction would mean surrendering sovereignty and accepting energy dependence. Manila is betting that, with allies, it can assert its rights. The shadows of the past linger, but the future is being contested now. The Philippines is building alliances to counter China's assertiveness. The U.S.-Philippines partnership is now joined by Japan, forming a powerful trilateral alliance. Japan, with its own disputes with China, shares a deep interest in keeping the South China Sea open. Japan has provided patrol vessels, training, and joint exercises to boost Philippine capabilities. Trilateral naval drills are now frequent, improving coordination and deterrence. The U.S. supplies advanced hardware and intelligence. Japan brings economic aid and Coast Guard support. Together, they form a credible defense network. The alliance extends to economic and diplomatic cooperation, offering alternatives to China's influence. This united front sends a clear message. The region will not accept a new order imposed by force. A free and open Indo-Pacific is the shared goal. The South China Sea's landscape is being transformed by military buildup. China's artificial islands are now fortified bases, bristling with advanced weaponry and surveillance. These outposts allow China to project power and enforce its claims at will. The balance of power has shifted. Beijing's presence is now permanent. In response, the Philippines, with U.S. support, is upgrading its own bases under the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. U.S. forces can now pre-position equipment and rotate troops at key Philippine sites. New runways, piers, and radar systems are being built, especially near the disputed Spratlys. This porcupine strategy aims to make the Philippines a tougher target and a credible regional partner. The era of sandcastles is over. The age of fortresses of sand and steel has begun. The new reality, a region braced for confrontation, but determined to defend its future.